Our next keyboard is going to be coming from our friend Anna, and that's going to be the talkback braille keyboard. Many of you would like to know how to use that. It's a very great keyboard that makes it easy for those who know how to use braille on their portable devices like the phone, so you could just use that instead of carrying along with you something like a braille display. And now to talk about the talkback braille keyboard, here is Anna.
I'm talking about the talkback-braille-keyboard. This is an on-screen keyboard that makes it possible for you to enter text using contracted or uncontracted braille. To use it, you need to do 3 things. 1. Install Google's Gboard if it isn't on your phone already. 2. Make sure your version of TalkBack supports this keyboard. 3. Make the talkback braille keyboard your default input method. Okay, you probably already have Gboard installed on your device, but if you don't, you can go to the Play Store, search for Gboard, Gboard, by Google, and tap Install. To make sure your version of TalkBack supports the talkback braille keyboard, go into your device's Settings app, then into Accessibility, then into TalkBack, then into Settings, then explore or swipe through the settings. If you find Braille keyboard among them, you're good to go.
Pixel Launcher. Apps List. Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Record Stop. Settings. Settings. Search settings. Out of grid. Accessibility. Screen readers. Display. Interaction controls. Accessibility. Navigate up. Button. Out of list. Talkback. On/speak items on screen. Talkback. Navigate up. Button. Out of list. Settings. Talkback settings. Navigate up. Button. Out of list. Customize menus. Braille keyboard.
Just as an aside, you can tap Braille keyboard to find out what its settings are, but we'll leave that alone for now. Finally, to make the talkback Braille keyboard your default input method, go into the device's Settings app, then into System. This is the option where languages, gestures, time, and backup are located. Then into Languages and Input. Then into Virtual Keyboard or On-Screen Keyboard, depending on your version of Android. Here you find a list of the active keyboards on your device, followed by a Manage Keyboards icon. If the talkback Braille keyboard is in this list, you're ready to go. If it isn't, tap Manage Keyboards. This brings up a list of all of the keyboards on your device. Tap talkback Braille keyboard to check it, and now you're ready. Okay, to use the talkback Braille keyboard, you need an edit box. So let's go into the Messages app, open up a conversation, and tap the edit box to bring up a keyboard.
Message from sister. Sister. Chat message. Edit box. Out of list conversation list. Show in English US. QWERTY. Keyboard.
I just brought up the Gboard, which is my default keyboard for now. Now, either tap the Switch Input Methods icon
Switch input method. Button. Navigation bar.
in the bottom right corner of the screen, roughly below where you would expect a right shift key to be, or you can hold your finger on the space bar.
Space. Keyboard hidden. Change keyboard.
In the list of keyboards that is now on your screen, tap talkback Braille keyboard.
Checked. Radio button. English US. QWERTY. In list. Not checked. Radio button. Espanol. E.U. QWERTY. N. Not checked. Radio button. Talkback braille keyboard. Showing braille keyboard. Sister. Swipe up with 3 fingers for more options. Screen away mode.
The braille keyboard pops up on the screen and you are ready to enter text. You can use the talkback braille keyboard in one of 2 layouts. The first one is what I think of as accordion mode, and the second is desktop mode. By default, the layout changes depending on how you're holding your phone.
Showing braille keyboard. Screen away mode. Tabletop mode.
All right. To use the accordion layout, hold your device in landscape orientation with the screen facing away from you and the home button in your right hand. The short edges of the device are resting against the tops of the palms of your hand. And your fingers are curled over so that the fingertips are near the center of the screen, positioned like the dots in a braille cell. The index finger of the left hand is dot 1, and the index finger of the right hand is dot 4. Visualize the cell and the fingertips as the dots in that cell. Now write as you would on a Perkins keyboard.
Cap. H-I-E. Hi. H-V-N. Apostrophe. T. Haven't. S-P-O-K-N. Spoken.
There are a few gestures you need to learn. Swipe 1 finger to the right for the space. Swipe 2 fingers to the right for a new line. Swipe 1 finger to the left to erase a character.
Cap. H. S. S deleted. It deleted. H deleted.
Swipe 2 fingers to the left to erase a word.
G. O. T. Got deleted.
Swipe down with 2 fingers to close the keyboard.
Keyboard hidden.
Swipe 3 fingers down to switch to the G board.
Showing English US. QWERTY. Keyboard.
Now, the G board does not have to be your default keyboard. If I'd been using Swift key, I could still bring up the Braille keyboard by holding on the spacebar or by tapping the switch input key in the bottom right corner of the screen. But if I swipe down with 3 fingers while using the Braille keyboard, the keyboard that is always going to come up is Gboard. Back to the gestures. Swipe up with 2 fingers to submit. This doesn't work everywhere, but in general, if after writing this I use this gesture, the text message will get sent.
Submitting text. Sending message. Keyboard hidden. Message sent.
If I'm writing in a search field, swiping up with 2 fingers will initiate the search.
Search or type web address. Edit box. Editing. Showing Braille keyboard. Screen away mode. R-E-C-I-P-E. Recipe. 4-4-C-O-L-T-E. Chocolate. Ch-I-E. Chip. C-O-O-K-I-E-S. Submit cookies. Keyboard hidden. Recipe for chocolate chip cookies. Google search. WebView. 48%.
Swipe up with 3 fingers for the Braille keyboard options screen.
Keyboard hidden. Braille keyboard options.
We'll get to that now. This keyboard has some interesting settings. We're not going to go through all of them in this demonstration, just a few. So let's go into talkback braille keyboard settings. There are 3 methods for doing that. One is to go into settings, accessibility, talkback, settings, braille keyboard. Another is to go into settings, system, languages and input, on-screen keyboard, braille keyboard. And the third is to simply open the braille keyboard, swipe up with 3 fingers.
Switch to uncontracted braille in list. See all gestures. Open tutorial. Settings. Cancel button out of list.
If you're a slate and stylus user, this is a setting you may really like.
Settings in list. Braille keyboard. Navigate up button out of list.
Okay, find the reverse, the dots option, and tap it.
Braille keyboard. How to use Braille keyboard in list. Typing languages. Unified English Braille. Typing languages. See all gestures. Layout. Adapt to how you hold the device. Layout. Include all press dots. Each press dot is part of the input, even if the dot is released before other dots. On. Switch. Reverse dots. Swap the dot positions so that dots 1 and 4 trade places. For example, on. Switch. Typing feedback. Typing echo. Read all letters and words. Typing feedback. Typing echo.
For whatever reason, reversing the dots makes things a lot easier for me when I'm writing in accordion mode. All right, so let's get back to writing on our keyboard. We learned about accordion mode. Now it's time to practice writing in desktop mode.
Tabletop mode.
For desktop mode, place your device on a table with the home button to your left. Put your fingertips on the screen as if you were writing on a Perkins keyboard. It helps to put your fingertips along the long edge that is nearest to you, at least when you're starting out. The right ring finger, dot 6, should be at the very right edge of the screen, but the left ring finger, dot 3, should be about a centimeter away from the left edge of the device. When you're ready, just start writing.
T-O-Q-Y-U then I-L-E period while.
Use the same gestures as before. Swipe right with 1 finger to add a space, 2 fingers to add a new line. Swipe left with 1 finger to erase a character, 2 fingers to erase a word. Swipe down with 2 fingers to close the keyboard. Swipe down with 3 fingers to close the braille keyboard and bring up a QWERTY keyboard. Swipe up with 2 fingers to submit, 3 fingers to bring up the options screen. If you like one layout better than the other, and you get annoyed that it switches automatically, we can go back into talkback braille keyboard settings to set a preference. So, while the keyboard is on the screen, swipe up with 3 fingers, tap settings, then tap layout.
Layout. Adapt to how you hold the device. Layout. Checked. Adapt to how you hold the device. In list. Hold device with screen away from you. Screen away mode. Place device flat on a table. Tabletop mode.
We've got 3 options there, so tap the one you want. And this is enough information to get you started. My experience with this keyboard is that brailing on screen is incredibly awkward for the first 3 or 4 days, and then it suddenly gets easier. I use this keyboard a lot more than I ever imagined I would. I think it's worth trying.